How you going, you dogs? Look, we're doing another episode of Blokes on Blokes podcast, volume 2. Today we got a nice gentleman by the name of Ben. I call him Benny. He's a good bloke. He started this thing called Kickin the Punt. So it's about gambling and the way that the public view gambling. So we're going to pick him up from Jetties now. We're going to fucking have a chat to him. Maybe have a fuck. Don't know. But we're just going to have a casual chat. So sit down, hold on to your Johnson, right? Maybe get some popcorn, maybe have a drink. Some flatty juice, whatever. Just sit down, have a watch, and who knows, you might enjoy it. You might learn something out of this, you dogs. So we're going to go pick him up. Well, we found a nice fucking spot, eh? We're out of the wind, we're out of the fucking sun, we're out of harm's fucking way. And we're sitting here right now, we've got Ben Hamilton. And we've just come out for, we come for a fuck?
Bit of a yarn, bit of a fuck.
Fuck fish, fuck what? About that, yeah. So we've got a couple of lines out. Don't know if you can see them, but we've got a couple of lines out. We haven't really had a hit. Oh, maybe a nibble there. Could be a stingray. But look, basically it's Blokes on Blokes podcast volume 2. Just, it's a casual chat with all walks of people that, So this is what it is, and welcome.
Thanks, Mark. Good to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, where do we start, Mr. Hamilton? Look, can I just interrupt? Yeah, I'll interrupt. Look, Ben started this great thing, and it's called Kickin the Punt. Now, it's mainly to show the public a different, how would you say this? Give them a different look as to what gambling is. And I think it's great personally. I think it's fucking amazing because I've been there myself. I've got many friends that are still in that hole. That bad cycle of gambling, and it's really fucking evil.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. And what you've started, I think, it's good. You've made yourself vulnerable, and it's courageous. Is that a word? It's courageous a word? I think it's courageous what you're doing.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Because you're going up against clubs, pubs, like these people are nearly invincible.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what I've sort of learned over the last couple of weeks, especially just doing my own research and how big the actual industry is and how insidious it really is as well. So if you look at it all together, it's pretty overwhelming. But, now that all the media stuff has sort of settled down a little bit, we can start sort of consolidating our effort and really start to target certain aspects of the industry that we want to target and that we think will we'll be able to influence and have a win with. But yeah, if I've had many sleepless nights since I, started kicking the punt with my wife, that just thinking how the fuck am I going to change things. And, like you said, I know plenty of people that still really struggle with it, and, I still struggle with it too. If I have a bad day or whatever, I often think about, going down there still, which is fucked. But, yeah, you can only really do what we can do, and there's been a huge amount of support for us, which has been really good. And hopefully we can start changing things one step at a time. That's all we're doing at the moment.
Okay, all right. Well, there's someone mowing his lawn, and he's really fucking. Can you hear? Are you picking that sound up? Fucking stingray dog. Look, I just think that because you've been there yourself, your partner's been there as well through it, because, she was there with you when you were going through it yourself. So I think that, it's like anyone that starts anything, if they've been through it or they still are going through it, they know about it.
Yeah.
I think that's the important thing. I see gambling everywhere. I see it on the fucking TV. I see it Instagram ads, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's fucked.
And it's just, look, when someone says to me and they say, oh, look, well, if I can go to the pokies, put $20 in and leave, and I enjoy it, then so what? Why, just because you have a problem, why should it affect us?
That's the thing. I hear that a lot. That's generally, I wouldn't call it negative feedback, but, often when I've come out and spoken about a certain aspect of my journey or given my opinion on something, regarding gambling, I often get that. And the thing is that I'm looking at pokies first and foremost. I'm not saying that other people, other facets of the industry like tab and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, there's definitely issues there, but pokies are by far the worst out of the lot. And the thing that people don't understand is that you could go through for years and do that and have that occasional $20 on a Friday or 50 or 100 whatever with your mates or whatever and never have a problem. But addictions are born when people are vulnerable. So you might have a blue with your missus or your fucking boyfriend, whatever, or it could be anything, and you might find yourself in front of a machine, and that's when it fucking grabs you. And once it's got you, it won't let go, and it takes someone who really cares about you, to pull you away from it. And it's a big battle. It takes years, and sometimes it takes your life. And that's these machines are designed to addict people. Like it's not a conspiracy theory. It's fucking proven. Like part of the people that were involved in creating the machines was psychologists, psychiatrists, people that know how the brain works. So you can't you can't dispute it. They're designed to addict, and they're designed to fuck people. And that's all we want to do is Kickin the punt. Is just have a conversation about it. It's not about. And if you really sit down and look, like any person, everybody will know someone who struggles with gambling, with whatever form. But the scary fucking thing is that there's so many gamblers out there that go under the radar, and that's it. And often you don't know that they're really struggling until it's too late, until they either, completely lose everything and they're fucked, or they kill themselves. And it's a scary reality. There's at least 400 people a year that kill themselves from poker machine addiction, and that's being conservative. That's a conservative figure. I would say it's a lot more, and it's not acceptable for something that's, it's literally been designed that way. It's just not acceptable.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think people don't understand. They just look at it as a machine. They don't know what's gone into making that machine and how they've made it to target certain different people and all that. And I don't know how that's legal.
No.
Fuck the government. They're not really there to look out for us. That's for sure. So if it were to happen, I know you're not really. I probably misworded that wrong at the start where I said you're taking on the pubs and clubs and that, because that's basically
that's what we want to do.
Yeah,
that's the direction we're headed. If we get enough support, I'll go. We'll go the whole way. We'll do whatever we can.
Is it possible for a club or a pub to stay profitable without machines?
Yes, it is. And there's several pubs that I can think of that have gone machine free, and it's definitely been challenging for them to transition away from poker machine revenue, but it is possible. You look at the Beach Hotel in Byron Bay. Granted, they've got a bit of a pretty good spot, and it's pretty highly trafficked area with tourists and everything else, but they went machine free, and yes, they still have tab and all the rest of it. But for me personally, like, I struggle with pokies, so that's a place where I can go and feel safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can go and have a few drinks and have a good time with my mates or my family and not feel like that, feeling like I'm being drawn into that fucking gaming room. But there's also another bowls club in Sydney called the Petersham Bowls Club. These guys went machine free a few years ago, and they struggled initially, but their revenue's up 800%.
Yeah, wow.
Again, their communities, they're very tight knit community, and they're very focused on their community and benefiting their community. So, but there is examples out there, of venues that have done it, have gotten rid of the machines, and they're doing really well. So,
could you say that not every club or pub would benefit from it and might go under?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit and say that every club can find a way that's sustainable away from machines, but I at least think it's worth at least having one pub or one club per town that doesn't have machines.
So it gives that option to the person that I can go there and I can feel safe and I'm not gonna.
Exactly, yeah. It's there's, and I don't know the industry side of things too well, but I do think that they've all got them, or the vast majority have got them. And it only takes one venue to put your hand up and go, you know what, I'm sick of, because they know, my gambling went from the occasional thing every Friday or Saturday with my mates to it become a real frequent thing, and then it evolved again and become a real fucking dark thing where I'd go months without doing it, but I'd be planning that fucking...
You'd be planning
that thing for months and months and months, and the real intricate bullshit stories and hiding money and all the rest of it. And then when I'd go, it'd be fucking dangerous because I'd write myself off that bad that I just don't know what I was capable of. And I've had suicide attempts. I've had the whole lot, that's just been... And it's all because of these machines. It's not me. I do struggle with, anxiety, and I've got PTSD. I've been diagnosed with that. So yeah, I've got my own issues, but these machines have always pushed me to that extreme where, suicide becomes a real option. Like I went months, after my last really bad relapse in 2018, even after I got my shit together after all that and after that suicide attempt, I went months where I looked at my son and I knew I loved him, but I felt so ashamed of what I did. I lost that connection with my own boy.
Yeah.
And it fucked me up. And then I'd fantasize, like, in our old place, we had like a stairwell, and I'd come up with these fucking plans of how I could hang myself in that stairwell, and it just, it's fucked up. And it's all because it's like the withdrawal when you stay away from the machine. It's it's just, and through starting Kickin the Punt, and networking with all these other people, around Australia and even, around the world, the stories are the same. It's not my story's not a surprise.
Yeah.
There's fucking endless stories out there of people's heartache and misery, and the thing is that the people that own and operate these venues, they fucking know what goes on.
Yeah.
They know they're it's tricky. Like, I get it where people, have a business. I run a business, and you need to make money.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, I've got a family to support. Need to support them. But I know personally, if I go into a job and I go, there's asbestos there, or there's something dangerous, whatever, I don't just walk past it and go, oh, whatever, fuck it. Well, I hold myself to a pretty high standard, and I don't do anything unethical. But in my opinion, that these places, they know they're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You can't, no matter what bullshit they spin or what, rhetoric they fucking belt feed out and all the bullshit excuses and everything else.
Got a little bite.
Oh, to what?
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter what bullshit they spin, they know they're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And like, it's tricky, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to explain it and to say it in a way that I'm not going to piss someone off. But at the end of the day, reality is reality. The reality is the machines are designed to addict people. They cause pain and misery. They take people's lives, and it's not acceptable, in my opinion. There's another way. There's always other ways to fucking make money. And I don't know how, a bloke or, whoever who owns a pub, gets up and they know, and there's numerous suicides through the community, everybody's community every year, and a lot of them, would, because due to gambling.
Yeah.
And they would know that. So how the fuck do they get up every day and look at themselves and go, oh, I'm doing a good thing, I'm supporting my community? They're not.
No, they're not. Yeah. And that's the thing. But, before I suffered from any sort of mental illness, and if I was younger and someone said to me, hey, I've got bad anxiety or something, I'd be like, whatever, man, just grow up, man up, because I never experienced. And could you look at it that way as well? But, as being someone who runs a pub or owns a pub, and, well, I don't know anyone that's had gambling issues or suicides in the family because of gambling, and they don't know? Or is it impossible for these people not to know?
Mate, it's impossible because, like, if, towards the end of my, I've stopped now, and it's been nearly 200 days since I last gambled, which, fuck, is pretty much the longest I've gone.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But when, towards the end of my bad relapse in 2018, I was going, like, I was really out of my normal routine. I was going like every second day, and it was getting fucking hectic, and I was chasing that money and just wanted more time in front of the machines and everything. And you saw the same cunts going there every day,
Yeah.
every fucking day, and like even through my own like trance that I was in with the machine, like I still noticed people that I could see them, and I've always had a knack of like sort of I can feel things with certain people, and I'm very empathetic to a lot of people and a lot of things, and I could pick up on that even through that hectic trance I was in with the pokies, and you see it. So if I'm there and I'm seeing it in my fucking hectic gambling trance state, the people that work there and the people that run the job,
they're seeing more.
100%. They see the whole lot, mate.
Yeah. And I think that, well, for me, myself, alcohol and gambling went hand in hand.
Yeah, bloody oath.
And the more drunk I got, the more I didn't care.
Yeah.
And the more I would dig a bigger hole.
Definitely. I never gambled without drinking.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
100%. And, when I had that bad relapse in 2018 and I took my car off the road purposely, and I fucked up majorly. I fucked my life up so badly, but I got an interlock in my car.
Yeah.
A breathalyzer. That thing has fucking saved my life, mate.
Yeah.
It's a cunt. It cost me fucking $300 a month to have it in my car. But, like, it's such a cock block. Like, I can't go,
yeah.
like, because I would always, I'd plan this fucking event in my head, and as soon as I got there, I'd start hammering the schooners, because I know my missus is switched on. She'd know straight away.
She knows
She'd
what you're
feel
up
it.
to.
Yeah, so I knew that I had to fucking get as much grog on board as possible, so when that call came, I could deflect. I'd reach that point where I wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I'd be able to deflect that and not. So I always drank when I was playing the pokies, like, and if I often tried to do that, online pokies or whatever, and it never did it for me. It's not the same.
No, that's right.
But and then that's when I then realised that I struggled with my drinking and that as well, and I had to really manage that aspect of it. But yeah, it's always hand in hand. They both are, like, and I would say the vast majority of people that struggle with the pokies, it's the same thing. You get to a point where it always evolves. It's never the same. Someone's addiction with the machine, and when it gets really dark and dangerous is when the alcohol and the machine, go into bed together, and that's it. If you're at that point, it's fucking dangerous.
So basically, I've got an audience that differs, from all ages. It's young to older. So I 100% think that someone who is struggling with gambling addiction would be watching this. And I think that's a good thing, that this guy mowing the fucking lawn. Fuck off, dog. But
It's a fucking big lawn, eh?
oh, dude, he's going to be there for hours. Fuck's sake.
Yes, seriously, look at this guy.
Hell. So I think it's such a good way to, put this out there, and for you to speak about your own demons and what you've suffered, and how you're still pushing forward and still battling through it yourself.
Yeah.
So if you just want to say anything or spit something out to anyone that's watching that, that's in that position and needs some guidance.
I think the biggest thing that you can do is firstly start talking about it. That's the biggest thing, because you look at other addictions like alcohol, substance addiction, whatever it is, like, even look at other disorders like eating disorders. It's all visible. Gamblers aren't visible. They might initially be visible when they don't even know that they're starting to be conditioned, to buy the machine. But once they're at a point where they're fully fledged in their gambling addiction, it's not visible. Even to the people, like, my wife has always known about it, and she saw the signs weeks before I gambled. I was always I've always been someone who can, like, manipulate the truth a little bit or whatever, and be very convincing. So I was always able to weasel my way around it, and yeah, but that's why it's so dangerous, because it's not visible. So if you're someone who's struggling, you might want someone to come tap you on the shoulder and go, "Oh, you're all right," but it might not happen. So the best thing you can do is just be honest and upfront about it, because by doing that, that's like the biggest step, and it's the biggest step in any addiction, really, to say, "Fuck, I'm struggling, I need a hand." If you see your mate, if you see your mate and you notice that you think like he's punting too much, if you're already thinking that in your head he is, and it might be worthwhile, maybe not when he's out and on the piss, don't bring it up to him then, but maybe the next day or whatever, go, "Oh, are you good?" Because like I said, addictions are born when people are vulnerable. So people don't wake up and have a pokey addiction. It's conditioned, because the machines are designed to condition the person to come back, for more and more. So if you can get that early intervention, it's good. But if you get to a point where you're really struggling, the only way I ever really started to realise that I was struggling is, I had some hectic fucking episodes. Like I said, suicide attempts, all the rest of it, and it wasn't like, over a couple of weeks. This is over years. This is over a decade of just getting hammered by these machines. So it took me 10 years to work out that I had a problem. And I've done fucking therapy, psychologist, psychiatrist, hypnotherapy, fucking naturopath, you name it, anything I've tried. But the only thing that works is just being honest about what you're struggling with. And if you start getting help for the things you're struggling with, you'll start to build up a bit of strength and resilience, and you'll start to break that bond that you've got with the pokey, and then you can start to move away from it. And me personally, I find by telling people about my story and trying to help other people, it keeps me honest.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I look at my little boy now and I feel something. I know I love him, and I've got that connection back with my son. So I'll never ever compromise that ever again. So that, it's a tricky one. There's no magic pill and you can swallow to to cure yourself of your gambling addiction. It's just the longer you go without gambling, the stronger you'll be, and the more honest you are about what you're struggling with, the easier it is. It's to me, I think it's that easy to once you acknowledge those two things, it's that easy. And speak up, get professional help if you need it. I still see a psychologist regularly. Yeah. Not that I have anything fucking majorly wrong in my life, but it's just good. I can go there once a fortnight.
Yeah, like why not? It's not going to make anything worse.
It's the best money I've ever spent in my life.
Yeah.
You can go there, be completely transparent. These people are trained to not only listen, but offer subtle hints and help you.
Yeah.
You might not even realise you're starting to deviate from what you're doing, and they can intervene early.
Is there a gambling number you can call for?
Yep, there's a gambling helpline. I don't know the number off the top of my head because I've never rung it.
Do you want to put the number here, Alex?
Yep.
What's the name of the place, do you know?
Locally in the Northern Rivers, the Buttery is where the Northern Rivers gambling counselling service, I think it is. Yeah. They're really good. I've seen a guy out there, his name's Chester. He's this older fella. He's like everybody's granddad. He looks like Santa Claus. He's an absolute legend. He's someone who struggled with gambling, and now he's stayed away for many years now. So if you link in with that crew, it's really good because you're talking to people that understand.
You build a support network.
Exactly. Yeah. But just talk to your mates. That's the best thing, because I've got blokes I've grown up with since I was fucking this big, and we all know each other so well. And now that I've started kicking the punt, like the boys are just so supportive, like, because I've never really come out and said I was like really struggling with it. Like they knew, but now that I've come out and said it, like they're so supportive of me. Like when we go out and have get on the piss or whatever, they just completely like they'll knock me out before they fucking ever let me
you go near the
anywhere near a
machine.
machine. So
Yeah, and that's what friends are there
that's
for,
it.
you know.
That's your best weapon, and yeah. The other thing is just to be truthful and.
Because with gambling comes a lot of things. You know, mental health is a huge thing. Anxiety, depression,
Yeah.
panic disorder. It can all stem from this gambling.
Fucking oath.
And
I'll put it simply, right? Gambling, the first thing it takes is your money. That's a given. It takes your money. It takes complete control of your finances. Once it's done with that, it takes your relationships. So the people that are closest to you, like, you know, it completely destroys your relationships. Once it's done with that, it takes your dignity and your self-respect. You're at a point where the only time you feel something is when you're on a machine.
yeah,
And then once it's taken all that, it takes your life. It's just that. That's it. And I've spoken to hundreds of people, even prior to kicking the punt, and even more so. Like since kicking the punt's got a bit of traction, I've had people ringing my phone nearly every night wanting to talk to me, thinking that I can, I'm a counsellor or something like that. I'm not like that. I'm just a bloke that gives a fuck about, like I said, helping other people helps me, but I'm just sick of seeing so many people fuck their lives because of these fucking things. So that's what it does. It's the only form of gambling that I know that can it can fucking take all your coins straight away, and then if you win, it's even worse because it'll grind it back over time, and that time you spend more and more time in front of the machine, and it just keeps seeping in more and more and more, and it becomes harder and harder and harder to fucking break.
Yeah.
It's just fucked.
And that's what the public need to see, these backstories of, they're like, it's almost like they're swept under the rug.
Yeah, they are.
The underlying issues with gambling and the families that get torn apart, and just
the social implications of gambling, particularly pokies, is huge. Like, Clubs New South Wales is a perfect example of an organisation that spits such bullshit, to say that they're doing all this great stuff for the community and all this. It's fucking bullshit. That the economics don't even support their narrative. I'm not 100% firm on the figures, but I know for, and don't quote me on these figures, but it's simple to see that for, every $1 billion that's raised in machine revenue, it costs between 3 and 5 billion in social costs.
Oh,
so
wow.
the whole story that these machines we can't get rid of them because they pump too much money in the economy, it's bullshit. It costs us money to have them.
Yeah.
It fucks people's lives up, and the social implications are huge.
Yeah.
So you can't, and then, another good one is they say, only 1 or 2% of people are problem gamblers, which is also bullshit. Maybe try 40 or 60%
Yeah.
are the people that feed the industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. People don't just they don't make those billions in profit off 1 or 2% that people, of people that gamble. If you look at the machines have been switched off since COVID, which has been great.
Yep.
The first week that the machines got switched back on, it generated the same, if not more revenue than the exact same time the year previous. But, only half the machines were turned back on, and there was less people in the venues because of the social distancing stuff. So it's essentially, since the machines have been turned back on, gambling's exploded.
Yeah.
Because people are vulnerable.
Yeah.
People have come out of COVID fucked up mentally. They've been isolated. A lot of people have lost their jobs. They're struggling. And like I said, addictions are born when people are vulnerable.
That's
completely irresponsible by New South Wales government to just prioritise to switch those machines back on. It's not them that are making money, it's the people that are involved that are making money, and they want to protect that because they make fucking huge amount of money off it.
Too much money.
Yeah. So it's just the whole thing. You can really get down if you look at it all like that on that big scale. But like I said, the only thing we want to do with kicking the punt, the main thing we want to do is to change the way society views gambling. It's just that simple. We want to have a conversation about it. we got, look at other social issues that we're facing, and there's a conversation about it, and that's great.
Yeah.
There's a healthy conversation about it. Domestic violence is, you look at that, many, many years ago when we were bubs or when our parents were kids, it was swept under the carpet. It was like the coppers, that's a domestic issue, we'll let them deal with that.
Yeah.
Now look at it, there's any ever dramas of domestic violence, it's straight away, fucking they're onto it.
Yeah.
And that's the way it has to be. Same as smoking. You can look at anything. Smoking, they were giving cigarettes out in shopping centres when my parents or their grandparents when they were younger. That would never happen now because people are aware of the dangers of fucking smoking.
Yeah.
If you still want to smoke, that's great. But see, pokies, they shift the blame onto the person that's doing it.
Yeah, saying that, they're probably
They're the problem gambler.
Yeah.
Gamble responsibly. You don't see some poor bastard that's struggling with an ice addiction, that's homeless on the street. You don't go and give him a gram of ice or whatever it is and go, oh mate, just use that responsibly.
Yeah.
It'll fucking never happen. So why put gamble responsibly on a fucking machine?
I think the other thing is that there aren't too many people willing to stand up and speak like you do yourself and start something like kicking the punt and try go head on at these guys. There's not many people that do that, and I wonder why. Because there are so many people that are struggling and have come out the other side, but they don't want to talk about it.
It's such a damaging part of someone's life, going through that whole process. It's it's definitely my darkest days. I've lost my teens to pokies.
Yeah.
And it's hard to come out and be honest about everything I've done and the amount of pain I've caused people and myself and all the rest of it, because there's that stigma attached. Gamble responsibly, problem gambler. There's this language that ostracises people that are struggling.
Yeah.
And that's something that needs to change. I never ever thought the term problem gambler could be so offensive, but it's what they do to shift the spotlight back on the person that's struggling and make out that they've got some deficiency in their character to say that they're the one that's fucked. And look, there is an element of that. There is people say, oh, why don't you have self-control and all this and all the rest of it. And you know what, I probably should have had self-control earlier on, but you get to a point where willpower or nothing, it's all irrelevant.
Yeah.
You're completely corrupted by the machine.
You're sucked in.
That's it. Yeah. So there is people out there that that have battled, and it will be an ongoing battle for the rest of their life. It'll be an ongoing battle for the rest of my life. There's people out there that they don't want to fucking look at that. They want to close that chapter and never look at that again because they're so embarrassed. And again, that's just because of the stigma attached to people that struggle with gambling addiction. So if we can have a conversation about that and change that and start to challenge the narrative that these organisations put out there, then we'll start helping people.
Yeah.
And we'll start changing things. It's about a lot of the older demographics. It's challenging to get that message across because they've been, these bigger organisations, have put out this such bullshit for such a long time that it makes sense. But if you look at it critically, it doesn't. So it's up to the younger crew, to look at it and go, hey, these things are fucking dangerous. And if you want to partake in that, you need to be informed that these are fucking dangerous. Yeah. And they can take everything from you. And as long as people know that, mate, I don't care. Yeah. That's all I want to do. People do lose shit all the time. People fucking skydive, people jump in the water with fucking sharks and shit all the time. But they know the dangers that they face.
Yeah,
they accept it.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
So,
but they don't know the danger of these machines.
No, they don't. And they think it's just, harmless.
Like, for instance, cigarettes, right? They put the ads on TV on the cigarettes. They've got the packets of the baby, another dude, and he died at 34 from smoking. But with gambling, the only thing I've seen close to that is in the bathroom. And it's a bloke with his family, and it says, is gambling ruining your family? Call this line. But that was, pretty much hard. But compared to cigarettes, for gambling, why couldn't you have a dude hanging from a noose from a tree saying, this is what because it's blatantly the same.
Yeah, exactly. Because the industry is very complex and they're very protective of, their revenue, and they're very clever, and they've got, I don't really know, it's like a whole new ecosystem, and they're all apex predators.
Yeah.
You're going in there, and it's a predatory industry. So they're very smart. They're very clever with the way they market themselves, and they fight tooth and nail to avoid any of that kind of publicity. And yeah, it's difficult, but they don't have control of social media. They don't have. This is where we can really make a difference, and this is where we can get the conversation starting. With something like this. You've got hundreds of thousands of people that follow you. And it's great. And I can reach a whole lot of crew by doing this with you and getting that message out there. And they can't do a fucking thing about that, and they'll hate that.
Yeah. For instance, if I say something, when I was gambling, well, it would have probably been a year back, and I was at Coolangatta, the Sands Hotel. It was a night, I think like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. I'm drinking a few beers. Anyway, I'm playing, and the lady comes over and she goes, "Oh, would you like a beer?" I said, "Yeah." She went and got it and came back, and she goes, "Oh no, that's on us." And I was like, "What the hell? You giving me a free beer?" She goes, "Well, yeah, we're told to give people beer that are doing max bets." And I said, "What?" I go, "You for fucking real?" But I'm gambling, and I was loving it. I'm getting free beer.
Yeah.
But still to this day, I remember that, and I remember that young girl that did that, and she said that, and I thought, how the fuck is that legal? You're feeding people alcohol to play more, to continue betting big, and to continue losing money. That doesn't make fucking sense. And this is the same place, the Sands, where I had banned myself. I'd done a ban. I went to, it was in Tweed Heads. It was it was near Hungry Jack's there, where Hungry Jack's used to be. It was Northern Rivers something. I saw a lady, had a chat to her. She said, "Where do you want to be banned?" I said, "I want to be banned all New South Wales. I want to be banned Queensland, blah, blah." She said, "Okay." She said the Queensland one, I would have to do myself.
Yeah.
Because they can't do it like that.
Yeah.
Which I did. And still I was able to go into these places.
Yeah, that's called the self-exclusion program, and I've done the same thing.
That's that.
And it's a great program, but the smaller venues don't enforce it at all, and it's kind of like it's in this weird area where it's not like. Jesus.
You getting these bus stops on camera?
It's in this weird place. It's the same thing. Like the industry started this self-exclusion program or funded it or whatever, and they call it a deed of self-exclusion. So again, they push it back on the person.
So bullshit, but
and they don't enforce it. My experience is the bigger venues like the casinos and the bigger RSLs and stuff, where you've got to show your ID.
Yeah.
If they know that you're self-excluded, I'm pretty sure they enforce it a lot better.
Yeah, they won't let you in.
And that's where we're launching our first campaign with Kickin the Punt this week. Is we want to have one venue in the Northern Rivers go completely machine free in the next 12 months, and we're starting a petition. That we want. If you want to see a machine go, or if you want to see a venue go machine free, sign the petition. Say that you want to support that venue if you're local, or if you think it's a good idea, sign the petition. So.
And that's going to be running. You're going to start that this coming week?
Yeah, this week.
Okay.
Yeah. And we want to, so when I could go to these venues, and when I speak to these venues over the phone, I speak to the managers or I speak to the RSG officer or whatever it is, they go, "Yeah, this is fucked. We hate it," but they'll never ever go on record because it's their job.
Yeah, of course.
They don't want to fuck with that, and then they go, "Yeah, mate, send an email and we'll sit down at the table and have a chat to you about it," and then they'll never get anything back.
Yeah.
Because they're real protective, but I wanted this petition to start. I've seen my local MP. We had a meeting with her the other day, Tamara Smith. She's an absolute legend. She's very supportive of mitigating gambling harm in the community in the Northern Rivers, particularly where we are in Ballina. So if I can get one venue in the next 12 months in the Northern Rivers to go machine free, I can get fucking whatever.
Well, anything's possible.
Yeah.
But even just one venue, that's huge.
Because what we want to do is if we can start getting the machines out of these smaller venues and start getting life back into these venues and live entertainment, and
because there is no life.
There's not, mate.
Everyone just sits there and no one's fucking happy.
No.
Just pressing that button. Even the old ladies, they don't even say hello. No one even fucking says hello. It's the worst vibe.
They're in a trance. But if we can get these machines out of these smaller venues, get life back into our pubs and clubs, and fuck the machines off to the bigger venues like the RSLs, the bigger sports clubs, the casinos, then people can go and you can start pumping lifeblood back into these smaller venues. And the thing is if you get to a point where you're fucked up and you're really fucking your life up and you self-exclude, that's it. You're safe.
Yeah.
You sign that dotted line. All your information goes out to these bigger venues, whether they check your ID or you've got to show your ID to sign in. They see that, bang, nah, Ben's self-excluded, don't let him in. You can't fuck up.
Yeah.
The counter argument would be, oh, there's online gambling and all that. But you know what? As a pokey addict who's suffered for over a decade, it's not the same. There's a whole fucking suite of things that go into poker machine addiction, like the venue, the lighting in the venue. There's all these different things, and sitting at home on your laptop fucking spinning and you can't even collect your winnings, like you got to jump through all these hoops. It's illegal in Australia. It's not the same.
Yeah.
So if we can do that, I would love to be able to see, at least one venue in every town, like, between Tweed and Ballina have no machines, like, a decent sized venue, and have these places where people can go and catch up with their mates and have a good time. And, if they do get a bit tipsy or a bit pissed, they're not going to, crumble and fucking end up in a game room. If we can do that, like, that'd be epic. Like, that'd be the best thing.
Look, if obviously there's going to be people watching that totally disagree, and they're going to be saying the same thing, that hey, just because he has a problem, why ruin it for the rest of us? Okay, now, what would you like to say to these people that have that perception on gambling, and that is their opinion? But what's your go at that?
I get where you're coming from, and I had that, especially when I was younger, I had that same kind of viewpoint. If I looked at other addictions like drug addictions or alcohol addictions and all the rest of it, I'd go, oh, it's just the person. It's not the person. These things are designed to addict people. Okay, if you take away like the wins disguised as losses and all the features of the machine that are blatantly there to be deceptive to the person who's playing them, if you take all that away, cool. But if you take all that away, no one will play them.
That's right.
So I get where you're coming from, and like, I'm completely open and honest about the struggles that I've had with my mental health, and they've played a part in my pokey addiction. But it still doesn't take away. You can't argue that these things are designed to addict people, take control of people's lives, and if there's no intervention, they'll end that person's life. You can't argue that. It doesn't matter what you say or what you think. It's the reality is that that's it. You can't argue it. So I understand where you're coming from, and I do have to exercise self-control now. But the thing is now that I've come out and I've told, especially the people that know me and people that care about me, I'm people are out there looking out for me now and making sure, if I want to catch up with the boys, we go to, have a house party or whatever, or we go somewhere where there's no machines. Like even the blokes I work with, they tried to organise a Chrissy party where there wasn't any fucking machines.
Yeah.
Because that's how much they care, because they've seen what I do, and they know that it's not me. Because they know me fucking so well, and they know me during the week, and they see who I am. And then the minute I get in front of a machine, if you try and pull me off, I'm fucking a psycho.
Yeah.
And they know that's not me. So I get where you're coming from, but please understand that these things are designed to addict people, and that you just can't look past that.
Okay. I think that was really, really good explanation as from someone who's watching the video and have a different, perspective of it, and saying, hey, well, you have a problem, but you know what? Fuck you. You got that. I don't agree with. I don't look at it like that either, because I've been through it myself.
Yeah.
But I just think that's such a selfish fucking. I think it's selfish. I don't know. That's just my. Yeah. So if you're watching and you got a different opinion on it, fuck you. No, you can put that in there. Fucking the dogs. But look. Nah. Yeah, I do mean it. Why are you laughing, Alex? Why are you laughing?
You have that viewpoint as much as you want, but you know, God forbid that you yourself or someone you care about,
family or your friend fucking goes through it. Like, you don't fucking,
you know. And any argument, I've had them all thrown at me. I've put myself out there. I've completely exposed my whole fucking life to the whole fucking country with all the media stuff, and you know, I've heard every argument, jobs, blah blah, creates all this and that, you know, and I can come straight back at you with truth, like, you know, the economics don't back up any argument that it's good for. Like, I've already touched on that. You put $1 million into a hospitality business, it will create 20 jobs.
yeah,
Right? You put $1 million into a venue that's has machines, it will create 1 job.
yeah.
It doesn't create jobs. It doesn't do anything. But people are forgetting. You know, I've had plenty of people ring me up. I've had photos sent to me of people fucking dead on the end of a rope. You know, I've had it all, and I've seen that now, and that'll never leave me. And so if you're trying to sit down there in front of me and tell me that it's my fault or it's that person's fault, yeah, fuck you. It's not.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. And I hope that, you know, if you do have that viewpoint, you know, we live in a democracy, you're entitled to your opinion, but as I've gotten older, I used to be very judgmental, and I used to fucking jump the gun on shit I had no idea about and make a judgment or whatever. But now if I don't know, I won't have an opinion. And if I'm interested in it, I'll do research.
Maybe this might help change others' opinions on it as well.
Yeah.
You know, because as you said, it's such a blinded thing. People don't know the depths of it or what's behind the machine. So that's why maybe people still have that opinion of, hey, well, he's got the problem. Why ruin it for the rest of us? That's because they don't know. And I think that the more you educate it, and what you're doing with kicking the punt and putting it out there, it creates that awareness, and then it can change people's perceptions on how they view gambling, and that's your main goal.
Exactly. That's all we want to do. We just want to change the way society views gambling. That's it.
Yeah.
Have an honest and open discussion about it. And, you know, I don't go to venues, I don't go there and go, fuck you, use the dogs and all the rest of it. I want to sit down and talk to them. If they can tell me a good reason why they should have these machines in their venue, fucking oath, have them. If you do have that opinion, look into it a little bit more, and you'll soon find that it's not as simple as, Ben, you're a fucking degenerate, you didn't have self-control. It's not that simple. You know, I wish it was.
I might take that back then, saying those people fuck you. I might, yeah, actually, no. Look, if you've watched this and you still have that same fucking perception that, hey, you know what, Powerfish, that's your fault that you had a gambling problem. Don't ruin it for the rest of us. If you can still, after hearing stories like Ben's here and that, and still sit there and say that, then yeah, fuck you, you dog. You know what I mean? So
I had one lady, which is funny. Like, it's not funny. It's actually terribly sad. But she, I told myself once I did all this media shit, I wasn't going to read the comments because some of them could probably fucking really upset me, and they did. And I couldn't help myself. I had to, you know, see what people were thinking about the whole thing that I was putting out there. And I had one lady. She was an older lady, and she said that same thing. She's like, you know, I like to go and, you know, to the club with my girlfriends, and we have a social flutter, and why should your problem ruin it for us? I shit you not. The next comment underneath was her fucking grandson, and he said, Nan, you put your whole superannuation through the machine. So don't fucking sit there and tell this bloke that he's fucking it for everyone and make out like you've got no fucking problem, because you do. So,
what?
Yeah.
Was it really her grandson?
Yeah, I'm assuming so. They had the same last name. But that, you know, that's it. People, they just get, you know, they're under this fucking illusion that everything's sweet, and it's really not.
Yeah. So Ben, where can people find your Kickin the Punt?
At this stage, we're mainly on Instagram and Facebook. So
you put the names here, Alex.
Yep. Kickin the Punt. Our website's being developed at the moment by the good local mate of mine, Jack McLaughlin, who's taken time, and, you know, all this shit I'm now starting to realise costs money to start all this shit up. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But I've got a lot of people that are, you know, helping me out. Like you doing this is major for us, and you know, people doing websites and all the rest of it. And there's been a huge amount of people that have offered help, and it's great. So we will have the website up and running soon. Social media is the best place, because on our socials too, there's that, you know, we've got that, you know, side of Kicking the Punt that we want to affect change.
Yeah.
But we've got that other side where there's support there too, and there's support from people that have been through what other people are dealing with. So you can go there and you can send your story to kickingthepunt@outlook.com, and we'll share your story, whether it's anonymously or if you want to put yourself up there. And there's you get a lot of power out of doing that.
Yeah.
Telling the truth is huge. It starts that healing process, and you know, if you're feeling a bit fucked or whatever, you post something up on the socials, and you'll get heaps of people commenting, and then people sort of ring me or whatever. And you know, you can't help everyone, and I've had to sort of, when it really started blowing up, I was non-stop, and I got to a point where I couldn't even work. Like, I wasn't spending any time with my son, and my whole life kind of started falling apart.
Yeah.
So I've had to sort of realise that I don't need to be the person that helps everyone, and there's, you know, hundreds of people in Kicking the Punt that if you put something up, someone will be there to have a chat to you.
Supporting,
Yeah.
they're all supporting each other.
So there's that supportive side of Kicking the Punt as well. And like I said, we're not a professional counselling service or anything like that. And I implore people that if they really are low, Lifeline, the gambling helpline, should be your first point of contact.
Yeah.
And if you're part of Kicking the Punt on social media, post up, and you will get plenty of people that will reach out and talk to you. And we do have counsellors, psychologists, social workers, all different forms of, you know, people that are part of our organisation already. So, you know, they'll point you in the right direction depending on where you are. But I'll always, as you can probably see, I love talking. I'll always talk to anyone, no matter what time it is, whatever day it is. If you need help, just reach out, and I'll be there to help and talk to people, you know, as a mate to mate. And like I said, I've fucking tried everything, so I have a pretty good understanding of where you could potentially get help and what help would be suited to you.
Yeah.
So I'm always happy to lend an ear to anyone that's really struggling with their gambling addiction.
Well, that's awesome, and I just think that you know, we've been sitting here chatting for an hour. It's been a free chat, and I think that it was good. And I think there's a lot of things in here that very informative for people that don't know much about gambling or never had an issue and are blindsided by the realization.
Reality.
The reality.
Yeah.
The reality of what these things are. So I think it's very informative, and it's going to be to a lot of people. So I want to thank you,
Thanks,
yourself,
brother.
Mr. Hamilton.
Thanks,
Kicking the
Fish.
Punt. Great bloke, great fuck, great guy. On behalf of me and the Powerfish family, I want to give you $2,000
Fucking hell, mate.
towards Kicking the Punt. You know, I don't know, maybe go to the all-male brothel, take the crew, who knows, but just put it towards Kicking the Punt. And
You're a legend. We're not even set up to accept money yet.
nah, but that's all right.
Documented anyway.
Yeah, you know.
Never
so.
give a gambling addict money, eh?
You're reformed.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks, Benny.
Thanks, brother.
And thanks for watching, guys, eh? And look after yourselves, look after your friends, fuck a few blokes, and if you are in a bit of mischief yourself, reach out for help. We'll put the numbers here. Look after yourselves. Now fuck off. Since we've been out here, guys, I have seen a couple of little surface bust-ups over there on the flats. Could be some flatties, so I'm going to just give a demo on how to cast it's a nice bit of squid, yeah. Bit of squid, get it on the flat too. What's this, dog? Did I go in the bush? A couple of land flatties? Yeah, no. I don't really like this rod. It's a piece of shit. I've never caught it. Fucking dog. Ain't nothing. Let's go to the brothel.